All right, so things are happening. Floor's dry, looks great. Had my first car on there already. You can see by the tracks and the dirt, but it was wet outside. I got rid of the stairs, built this wall. Started to plan my layout. I'm gonna have a toolbox and a table here, like a little side table with a vise. I'd like to have corner benches here or corner cabinets, and then the lathe right there, or the lathe over there. I'm not sure. My wash bin right there. The door opens this way, so if the door is open, it kind of blocks that wash bin. I don't want the filings and the dirt and everything kind of creeping out and landing in the wash bay. That would be bad. I think I'm going to put my drill press there, the press here, but again, plans will change. So just started making the stairs, 8-inch risers. You want it to be square, you want your space to be even from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to cut little blocks for underneath there. I basically traced my old one. We're gonna put 1x4s all the way up. We'll put our 2x8 across and bend the steel, which is on the other side of the hoist. Flash that in nice, and then put white on the top, and then I've got barn board to go on the outside. So that's today's job. Here we go. All right, we really want to thank Rustoleum for getting involved in this project, helping me overhaul my entire shop. It's awesome working with companies whose products we've already been using for years. And when they said, you know what, we feel that the Rock Solid is a really good fit for your shop, I'm all about that. Now, gotta keep in mind that my shop is horrible condition, so if it can hold up in my shop, then it'll definitely hold up in yours. In this episode, we're gonna show you how to do it on an industrial level. The prep work will be the same, but it's a lot quicker to mix the product and lay the floor down. So let's get into it. Here we go. All right, got quite a bit done yesterday. Nice long day. I took all the barn board off the trailer, and now we've got this kind of closed in. I moved my stairs finally, so I got some decent stairs to not hit my head as I go upstairs. Now there's a whole pile of parts up there. We put the 1x4 up on the wall here, and then the 2x8 that we can mount stuff to. So it worked out really good for hydro and stuff. Anything, airline, water line, whatever. We can mount that all nice and solid there. We've got things like old tables. This one is going to go in that little nook there. All right, we'll spray a little bit of crud cutter on there. It's pretty thick, so the spray doesn't really work. And then just spread it around, let it sit. Watch the rust just disappear. I don't like painting the tables because the paint always ends up chipping. Kind of just wash that around. We're gonna take this door down that flips up. I'm gonna take the track off of the ceiling and make barn door style doors that will slide open. So I can still get a car in there. Picked up another hoist pretty cheap, so we're gonna put that hoist over here. And then that'll allow me to pick bodies off and do some welding and stuff. The inside layout, as I'm going, we start running plugs to the bar salt tank, the TV, and then we'll put 220 and 110 here. These plugs are all on the light switch, so when the lights go off, the plugs go dead, which is nice, so nothing catches fire. I got one more roll of red tin, and I got my brake. So we're gonna bend some tin around here so that we can start mounting our boxes. I'm gonna trim the door, but I'll probably do that after I trim this. I found some old lights from 10 years ago. So I think I'll mount these up on the corner here maybe. I'll drop the TV down a little bit. TV has to be off center on this wall, otherwise the hoist kind of blocks it. But we'll run that wiring from the back as well. Okay, so I got all the plugs wired in, and I got a little bit of the steel hung, and I've got the doors trimmed. The reason I didn't time lapse that is because it's been freezing rain outside and we haven't had electricity for a while. Perfect time to hook up the electricity until the lights come back on again. You're not gonna shock yourself. So you can see, if you guys have a heated floor, you gotta get one of these Milwaukee thermal cameras. You can see the two lines there. On the ground, those are my heat lines, and just to verify, you can see I laid 2 paint sticks on the ground there, and those are where my heat lines are. I can go confidently right in the middle of that to drill and secure my wall down so that it doesn't move.
But yeah, this little thing, if you don't have one, you got a heated floor, just get one. Same with when you're nailing down or bolting down posts. Look at that, nice new 2-post. New to me. It used to be blue, now it's red, thanks to a little bit of trim clad, because you know the shop's got to match. You can see there's the post. You can see my lines. See the line? There's one dead center underneath, and then one just on the outside of the post there. And then I laid my sticks down just to verify that the lines are there. Oh, so nice. Anyway, I'm gonna bolt that wall down. The hydro came back on again, so I started putting up some tin. I got a hole in the wall for the TV there, and then I was gonna hang up some nice lights, but for the amount of time they're gonna be on, I'm just gonna screw them to the side of the wall, because that's where I'm at right now. I gotta get moving. Here we go. Okay, organizing the shop. It's still unorganized because I really don't have a spot for anything. Waiting on some extra product, but the white's all up. Those are some 2 extra ones. Lathe, I think, is gonna go over there, and then we'll get workbenches in this area, and then I kind of cleaned this corner up. Got some nice new rims for the C10. So I'm gonna move the C10 inside and see kind of what the space is. I want to be able to put a car in here, put the brake and the shear and the English wheel right here, and just kind of see what the space feels like. So here we go. I decided to give the floor one more shaving down. Battlefield got more teeth in before I was ready to pour anyway, so I thought we'd give it one more shot. I used about half of the teeth, and they only gave me 9, and the reason is that they said start with the outside ring and then put them on the inside ring to finish up. This is the knives on the inside ring, and then you move them to the outside, and all they do is they just pop in and out. Outside ring first, inside ring after. So that's what I did. I got rid of all those little black spots, and you can see I ended up taking quite a bit off. There's the gravel, and that actually goes in quite a few spots. It gave me a chance to go over top of the low spots as well with the filler, and even though that was a bit softer, I just made a note to lift up on it, and then I might have a few little marks in there, but that's better than the puddle sitting there. I might put one more coat, just a really thin coat on top of self-leveler, and then it should be perfect. Okay, because we've got these low spots filled in with the floor leveler, the colors are just off a little bit, so we're going to prime it with rustoleum floor primer. Basically, we etched it again, washed it, etched it, washed off the etch, and now we're just gonna roll this section out. You have to wait 6 hours in order, the primer acts like a glue, more or less. It'll make it all one color. So we'll do another third. It has to be 10 degrees. So we'll turn the extra furnace on up top. Even though it is 10, we'll raise it up just a little bit. And then you only have 48 hours to put the next layer on, which is the rock solid. All right, that worked really well. Not even 2 cans to do 48 deep and probably 24 wide, something like that. I did all this in about 40 minutes. No trick, just put a bag around your paint tray, then you just throw your bag out. And we don't even have to worry about the roller. We got lots of rollers in our kit. So we'll see you guys in the morning. Here we go. All right, so you're thinking, Rich, I really like your floor, but those little bags might be perfect for a homeowner, but I got a large area to do, and I don't want my friends thinking I'm back on the shake weight. Well, we also have an industrial version, which comes in very simple pails. You got 1 pail of A mixes with 1 pail B, throw your sparkles in, mix it up, and start pouring. You need a good setup to lay the entire product before it goes hard. Still only has a hot life of like an hour. So you gotta be efficient, nice and quick. We're gonna pour it into a 20-liter pail and then just put the lid on it, which will even out the pour as we go. Very simple. Here we go.
That was a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. If you do have a quote on one of these floors, they are definitely not cheap. And hopefully after watching the video, you can appreciate what goes into a floor. Now, keep in mind, this was a 10-year-old floor that was about as gross and as dirty and disgusting as you can get. There wasn't a square inch of shop floor that didn't have oil spilled it at some time. Gouges, deep cuts, uneven concrete floor. So this is about worst case scenario, and I'm happy that Rustoleum figured that they could fix it. They are very brave because I am going to use and abuse this floor. So definitely keep coming back to the channel. We'll do a review on how the floor holds up after a year from now and whatnot. But for now, I want to go over a couple things that I learned while we're doing it. We did end up getting some bubbles in one section of the floor, and that's because I had the fans on. I poured the floor when it was around freezing outside, and I have heated floors. I figured the air movement around would help cure the floor nice and steady and even. I think what happened was we dried out the very top layer of the epoxy, and and we're talking about like a millimeter thick, the chemicals underneath are drying, they're letting off a gas, but now we got this little film on the top and it pushes up, makes a gas bubble. So you want to avoid that, and you want to avoid putting it on too thick. It's actually better to do 2 coats thin rather than 1 thick coat. Keep that in mind. And you want to have good lighting as well. You think you've got coverage everywhere, and then you have one spot that doesn't have as much coverage as the next. Walking around on it lets you find those spots before you do your second coat. And when you do the second coat, you don't really see the design of the first coat underneath, so you don't have to worry about the swirling if you're doing this color. If you're doing flakes or whatever, I can't speak to that. I can only show you what I did here. So when you do get into the industrial, you have to boogie. It takes about an hour for us to lay the floor, and that's the entire pot life of that product. When you're mixing a giant pail like that, you want to be efficient, you want to be quick. I had the roller slide off of my paint roller, the actual piece, so I had to put a screw in there, and that wasn't an issue because the rollers that were supplied with the kit, it wasn't like the roller was falling apart. An hour later, it did the entire floor, so you don't have to worry about that. Other than that, I am extremely happy with it. You can walk on it after about 8 hours. You can drive on it after about a day, but we're gonna wait just a little bit longer. Anyway, it's the weekend. It's time to relax a little bit and start planning on putting the rest of the shop back together again, because I got a ways to go.
Okay, so the access to upstairs used to be there. Moved the stairs over to here. And I don't think you guys have ever actually looked upstairs. And I haven't been here for a long time either. I had to put a bunch of stuff up here just because I couldn't have it downstairs. So it's time to organize this now. Everything out of my old house, that was the kitchen out of the old house. That was 20 years ago I got that. Repurposed that, put that here. Little microwave and a stove. And then we used to play poker there all the time. I grabbed this TV out of the dump and got it working again fine, but I think it's on. I haven't turned it on for probably 2-3 years. A couple decent speakers which still work pretty good, and then I got 2 old couches and this old guy here and then everything over here was parts. Now I've already been cleaning. You can see the shelves are empty. Most of this will be shelving, so at least this very back wall here, we'll put white plastic here and then do another shelf. We'll put that bolt bin there just because. Got rid of so much stuff. Had the interior out of the Studebaker here. Boat motors, parts for her boat motor that I didn't even have anymore. I took at least 3 truckloads of scrap to V&R. I gotta put the railing here so we don't fall in. So I can basically just use that and move that over to here. Once we clean up some of this stuff. So all that mess that was here basically fit on these shelves right there. Perfect. Now I gotta take that railing down and fill in that floor. There we go. For the floors, we use tongue and groove, meaning that this will fit inside the groove on this one. See that? then you don't get the squeaks, and then the seams get put side by side on a joint. So let's see if I can make this happen.
Some of you guys know that I work for Canada's Worst Driver. They're no longer making any series whatsoever, so they got rid of a whole bunch of stuff, and including the set. So if you look at the last few seasons, this is where the judges sat. It was kind of in the background, and they were just gonna throw it away. So I thought, you know what, it would add a little bit to the shop. With the barn board and that, I think it would add a nice little more comfortable feeling. There will be another top section to this. There's a nice space in between that allows for me to put the cans and the tricycles and little knickknacks and stuff in there. I think it just separates the two benches as well. So I have to customize the size myself, so we'll put the red benches back. I added some lights just to the bottom of it because it got dark. I did have to put this in. I do have to put my benches back in. It's all barn board that was gonna go up here. And I ordered that about 6-7 weeks ago, but they haven't been able to get it in the bush because we don't have any frost yet. So I'm stuck, unfortunately, putting stuff back into the shop and getting back to work. Hopefully I can get some projects in, fix them, and then put the barn board back up again. I was hoping to reveal a very finished shop, instead a half-finished shop again, which is frustrating, but we will get there, and that's life. It always takes longer than you think it should. So here we go. Thanks for watching. Check out Rustoleum for sure. They've got lots more than just these colors, but I am really digging this color. Thank you very much to Rustoleum for working with us and being patient with us and overcoming the little obstacles here and there. All the products that we've used are in the description down below, so you can do it for yourself as well.